Excited. I think, obviously our goal of reaching the playoffs last year we accomplished, but now, we want to be a championship contender. I think we're putting in the pieces to be able to do that, hopefully add some free agents, and you can just feel the excitement in the whole organization and in the city, our fans. So honestly, I can't wait to get back out there. I wish we had a game tomorrow, honestly. Yeah.
Remember when the Indiana Fever struggled with just 5 wins 2 seasons ago? Things have turned around fast. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge, the team's front office made a bold move to bring in serious star power.
Thoughts on the $80 million Fever facility and Stephanie White being like, we're going to be aggressive in free agency, and massive names who are available. And I think, this is my bold prediction, the Indiana Fever are going to be playing for the WNBA title next year. Wow. They have their cornerstone pieces under rookie contracts.
The Indiana Fever just made a game-changing move, signing not 1, not 2, but 3 superstar players. This isn't just a rebuild, it's a full-scale transformation that puts them in the championship conversation. Want to know who's behind this powerhouse shift and how they fit into Indiana's big plans? Let's break it down with Sutter.
There are big-name veteran pieces that the Fever have money to go get to put them in position to be playing for the WNBA title. That's my bold prediction.
Not long ago, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the WNBA, ending the season with just 5 wins. It seemed like the losses would never stop, until everything changed. The team started making bold moves, turning heads across the league.
We felt this way to begin with, that the Fever were going to be a destination because you have Caitlin Clark, you have Aaliyah Boston, and you have a really, really young team. And I think now with Steph White, who is hands down one of the best coaches in the league, and we saw that with Connecticut, even though they fell a little bit short, I think that, this is going to be big.
The Fever's transformation began in 2023 when they drafted Aaliyah Boston first overall, a dominant center with superstar potential. Despite her talent, the team still struggled, finishing 13-27. The following year, they landed the top pick again and selected Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation talent who took the league by storm. In her rookie season, she averaged 19.2 points per game and shattered 62 records, proving she was the real deal. But even with Clark's brilliance, the team needed more firepower to take the next step.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
That's when Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull stepped up. As their chemistry grew, the Fever quickly shed their underdog status. Teams could no longer expect an easy win. Fueled by determination, they fought their way to a 2020 record and made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. It was a huge step forward, but for Caitlin Clark, it wasn't enough. She saw the team's true potential, not just to compete, but to dominate.
I see a lot of players wanting to go, in this offseason, a lot of players are going to want to go to the Fever.
So what did Clark do? She went straight to the front office and pushed for top-tier free agents. And the new leadership, President Kelly Koff and GM Amber Cox, did more than listen. They delivered. The Fever had 4 key off-season goals. First, re-sign Kelsey Mitchell, their leading scorer and team leader. Second, bring in versatile wings who could both defend and score, adding more firepower alongside Clark and Mitchell. Third, strengthen the forward position with big, defensive-minded players who could run the floor and contribute offensively. And finally, find a reliable backup guard to keep the offense steady when Clark or Mitchell took a break.
Building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core 3 like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well.
Now, the stage is set for a major change in the WNBA. The Fever aren't just eyeing the playoffs, they're aiming for the very top. With Caitlin Clark breaking the rookie assist record and showing off her skills as both a scorer and a playmaker, everything is coming together for something truly exciting in Indiana. So, who are the 3 key signings behind this shift? The Fever's management promised Clark they'd secure top talent, and they followed through. One standout move was signing Natasha Howard, a 3-time champion, an all-star, and a former Defensive Player of the Year. Howard brings exactly what Indiana needed: and then some.
This was the most improved team from the beginning of the season to the end of the season in terms of the Indiana Fever. I think the signing of Natasha Howard is huge. She fits the system beautifully. She is a terrific rim runner, and we know Caitlin Clark is one of the best get-ahead passers in the WNBA.
Some questioned whether 33-year-old Howard still had the spark to make a big impact. However, those critics missed the mark. In her last season with the Dallas Wings, she averaged 17.6 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game, with a solid 45.6% shooting accuracy. That performance isn't just strong, it's outstanding.
Also outstanding in the pick and roll. She is a floor spacer, and she brings experience. The Indiana Fever made the playoffs last year for the first time since 2016, and in that first game, none of their starters had any playoff experience. Natasha Howard has over 50 games of playoff experience, three-time WNBA champion. She fits them beautifully.
Now here's where it gets really thrilling. Howard isn't only a scoring machine, she's a defensive powerhouse too. Remember when she was named Defensive Player of the Year in 2019? She hasn't skipped a beat since then. Howard can take control in the paint and still keep up the pace on fast breaks. In short, she's a true all-around talent on the court.
Natasha Howard throws it right to... Oh! Anthony Rice's kidney! Oh! Defensive Player of the Year in the WNBA! You should just lock it up! John can't give it to him, and right there is Howard with a block. Another one rejected by Howard.
Let's not forget her winning history. With 3 WNBA titles under her belt, Howard knows how to win when it matters most. Her playoff experience even exceeds that of the entire Fever roster, making her a valuable mentor for younger players like Caitlin Clark. And there's more. Howard isn't just a defensive force. She's also a strong three-point shooter. When one of the league's best defenders starts hitting threes, it opens up the game for the entire team. Imagine Aaliyah Boston ruling the paint, while Howard, Clark, and Hull keep defenders busy on the perimeter. It's a tough challenge for any opponent.
They have certainly improved by signing Howard. She, to me, fits their system beautifully as a rim-running stretch four. We know Caitlin Clark is the best get-ahead passer in the WNBA right now. Howard will run the floor. Howard is outstanding in the pick and roll. We saw how good she was doing that when she was in Seattle. What else does she bring? A massive amount of experience.
Let's talk about Boston. Howard's arrival is set to make a big impact on her development. Boston is already a strong player, and having a seasoned mentor like Howard will only boost her growth. Together in the front court, they're bound to challenge any team in the league. But the real win from this signing is how it transforms the whole Fever team. Howard isn't just plugging a hole, she's redefining what the team stands for. With her on board, Indiana is no longer just a team with potential. They're a winning team right now.
Remember, all the conversation for Indiana going into the playoffs last year, first time they'd made it since 2016, was how little playoff experience they had. You see, now they have 33 games. In that first playoff game against the Connecticut Sun this past season, they had 0 playoff experience from their starting 5. Howard brings playoff experience. She's won 3 championships with both Minnesota and Seattle. So to me, she's a huge, huge piece for them.
Just when it looked like the Fever had finished making moves, they shocked everyone with a surprising trade. Nalissa Smith, once viewed as the future of Indiana's front court, was suddenly sent away along with the 8th pick in the 2025 draft, leaving many fans wondering what was happening. Then, the deal was complete. In exchange, the Fever landed Sophie Cunningham in the 19th pick. So, was it a smart move? Let's break it down. Cunningham is more than just a player. She's a powerhouse on the court. As a versatile wing, she can score, defend, and hit deep three-point shots. In fact, last season, she nailed 37.8% of her three-pointers, a level of shooting that can elevate a good team.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
But this is when things become really fascinating. Cunningham is more than simply a scorer. She is renowned as an enforcer, the type of player that makes opponents think twice before going to the basket. Remember how we said the Fever needed someone to toughen the paint? They've got her now. Imagine Cunningham and Howard dominating the court together. Suddenly, no one is moving the Fever around. It's as if Indiana went from being the nice kid on the playground to the one everyone is frightened of, which was exactly what they needed.
What is that? It might not be from you, but like what is the, I mean, it feels it's not hate, but is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it just like, what is it?
Yeah, I see both sides. I'm not an extremist in any way.
Yeah.
And so I like to see both sides of each party. I think when you have older people in the league, they work their tails off and they didn't get the recognition. They don't get paid millions of dollars before they even step on the court. You know what I mean? And for them, it's all about, okay, well, what are your stats? What are you doing for the actual game, like while you're playing?
Yeah.
And then for them.
But don't ignore the numbers. Last season, Cunningham averaged 8.4 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.0 assists per game. These metrics may not stand out at first look, but they tell the narrative of a versatile player who can contribute in all aspects of the game, which is precisely what the Fever needed.
This is amazing for women's basketball. This is amazing for women's sports in general. You have so many people, so many new and fresh eyes on our sport that maybe they're a little uneducated and maybe they kind of stir the pot a little bit. And so I get that. But for that class to come in, you have her.
Some may question the choice to trade Smith and the 8th pick. But consider this. Smith had a dismal 2024 season, playing barely any minutes in the last stretch, and with Howard's arrival, the forward position got crowded. Sometimes you have to let go of something good to make room for something better, which is exactly what the Fever are doing. This trade is more than just a talent acquisition. It is a daring move to change the entire club culture. The Fever are sending a clear message. They are not here just to compete. They are here to win, and they are willing to make the bold moves required to achieve that aim.